The CES Core Components. The core components of CES are access, assessment, prioritization, and referral. Access is how individuals and families enter the CES system. The COC adopts a no wrong door approach to coordinated entry, which ensures that no matter which homeless assistance provider a person goes to for assistance, they will have access to the same resources, referrals, assessment, and prioritization processes. Access points are required to offer a CES assessment for all households that come to them seeking services. The KSHC CES team is a remote access point. We're here to assist with assessments for households who don't have an access point in their area or when providers do not have the capacity. Help requests can be submitted by staff for households on our website. When accessing CES, each adult CES participant must be made aware of their option to be added into the system anonymously. The HMIS and Coordinated Entry Release of Information obtains consent to share and store the participant's information. If someone does not consent, they may still access services by being added anonymously. When added anonymously, no personal identifiable information is entered and an anonymous ID number is assigned. If referred to a program, the agency that completed the assessment is responsible for helping connect the individual or family, as no other entity will be able to connect the participant to the assessment if they do elect to be anonymous. Assessment is a uniform tool and process for evaluating the needs of those seeking services. A CES assessment is a standardized evaluation that collects key information about a household's current living situation, vulnerabilities, service needs, and housing history. CES assessments are used as a decision assistance tool to assist in prioritizing households when available resources are limited. The assessment process must not screen people out of coordinated entry because of perceived barriers, including but not limited to past resistance to services, lack of income, substance use, domestic violence, a criminal record, or disability. HUD-funded emergency shelters and street outreach programs are required to complete CES assessments. Emergency shelters have 72 hours to get the assessment completed. Street outreach programs should complete the assessment within 3 interactions or 30 days, whichever occurs first. Prioritization is the policies and procedures used to prioritize individuals based on vulnerability and severity of service needs. The coordinated entry process must, to the maximum extent feasible, ensure that people with more severe service needs and levels of vulnerability are prioritized for housing and homeless assistance before those with less severe service needs and lower levels of vulnerability. We utilize the CES assessment score and client-focused case conferencing to determine prioritization. During case conferencing, households are reviewed and prioritized based on severity of service needs, with service providers able to advocate for adjustments to the priority order if they believe the assessment score does not accurately reflect the household's circumstances. The entire region must agree that the household is the next most vulnerable person in order for the referral to bypass a household with a higher CES score on the CES list. In this way, referrals for specific participants can only be requested during case conferencing. Households can be prioritized based on the following factors as defined by HUD. Significant challenges or functional impairments, including any disabilities which require a significant level of support in order to maintain permanent housing. High utilization of crisis or emergency services to meet basic needs, including but not limited to emergency rooms, jails, and psychiatric facilities. The extent to which people, especially youth and children, are unsheltered, vulnerability to illness, death, or victimization, risk of continued homelessness, and other factors as determined by the community that are based on severity of needs, as outlined in regional plans. Residential history may be considered in case conferencing, but should never be the sole determining factor for prioritization. No individual should be excluded from referrals based on how long they have lived in the community. For short-term assistance, agencies may request referrals be sent from lower on the CES list if they do not have funding to provide long-term support or provide supportive services only, as approved in the region on a case-by-case basis. For permanent supportive housing prioritization, first priority is given to chronically homeless households with the most severe service need. Chronically homeless households are offered housing interventions in descending order from highest vulnerability, determined by CES assessment score and decisions made during case conferencing. In the event that 2 or more households within the same geographic area are identically prioritized, the referral is given to the household with the longest history of homelessness. Referrals are a systematic approach to connecting individuals to housing and services that best meet their needs and preferences. Receiving projects are housing projects that will receive referrals from coordinated entry to fill their programs. When a receiving project has an opening, they will request a referral through case conferencing or Fresh Desk. The prioritization process determines who receives the referral, which the CES team will then send. The receiving project then reaches out to the referred household to explain the program and offer them the option to participate. If the household is interested in working with the program, the receiving agency gathers documentation and determines eligibility. If the referred household is unable to be located or is not interested in working with the program, the referral is denied. The household is then added back to the CES list, and the receiving project requests a new referral. A referral must be requested from the CES team for all COC and ESG-funded housing programs prior to enrollment in the program. This is for all projects besides homelessness prevention and veterans, which accept direct referrals. So homelessness prevention and veterans program referrals are sent directly by the assessor at the time of assessment. They do not require a referral to be requested from KSHC. Prevention CES uses direct referrals rather than the CQ list to expedite the process of connecting to services. When a homelessness prevention program is available in the area someone is experiencing housing instability, a direct referral is sent. All veterans households are provided with a direct referral to SSVF or HUD-VASH programs. Please remember that just because a direct referral is sent, it does not mean that the receiving agency has the funding or capacity to assist. It is the responsibility of the assessing and referring agency to coordinate services with the agency the individual has been referred to. When a household is assessed and referred through CES, the HMIS system automatically tracks and links each step in the process, from CES assessment to referral to enrollment in the program. CES linkage ensures that all housing referrals, assessments, and enrollments follow HUD-mandated requirements in the correct order. If linkage does not occur, the CES team can manually link programs through a process known as backlinking only if there is proof a referral was requested prior to enrollment in the program. When a backlink is requested, the CES team will look for that proof of a previous referral. If no proof can be found or provided, a backlink cannot be added. These are the 4 core components of CES. Thank you for watching.